there, this is Dr. John Whitcomb talking about how to knock off senescent stem cells on your own. What sparks this is recent research from the Mayo Clinic showing that you can kill off senescent stem cells with chemotherapy drugs as well as with a supplement or two. But you can actually kill off senescent cells on your own. And let me put that in context. What are senescent cells? Well, we're beginning to learn that aging is driven by quiescent cells becoming senescent. A quiescent cell is a stem cell that is like a soldier on the parade ground, all dressed and ready to go, fully armed, in uniform, but standing at ease and waiting for orders. A senescent cell is the same soldier back in the barracks playing poker in their underwear and drinking a beer, not available, not armed, not in uniform, and not paying attention. Your senescent cells are unable to duplicate, and you need to continue living to constantly be duplicating and replenishing all of your organs. So the process of maintaining quiescent cells, quiescent available cells, is critical to aging. That conversation is maintained by a discussion between the nucleus and the mitochondria in your cells. What's most interesting is the concept, of course, we want to maintain quiescent cells. You can pull them back from senescence, or at least slow that process by rigorous exercise, by fasting, and by growth hormone. But now we have a fourth pathway, and that is you can get rid of. We do know that senescent cells accumulate in every organ with disease. And from the Mayo Clinic, we have this startling and fascinating information that mice live longer when you kill off senescent cells. Okay, so that may be a new way of raising the balance between quiescent and senescent. But how can you do it on your own? Well, it turns out that a couple supplements do it quite dramatically. Fisetin does it quite well, for example. And if you take a gram of it 3 days in a row, that works pretty interestingly well. Fisetin comes from grapes and strawberries and is in quite a few foods, but you can also simply buy it as a supplement. What the Mayo Clinic used in their concept was also quercetin. And quercetin is found in onions, and again, is typically used as almost like an antihistamine. You can also take a gram of that for 3 days in a row. Finally, curcumin. Curcumin is the yellow of curry powder, and it is known to turn off NF-kappa B quite potently. I take it every day. I try to eat curry as often as I can. Those three combined together, 3 days in a row, maybe once a month, might be a pretty dramatic way of turning off your own senescent cells. Do we have a way of measuring that? Do we have tests to prove it? We don't yet. But I've certainly added quercetin and fisetin occasionally to my regimen. I plan to do it once every 3 months, just until we learn how to measure it. This is Dr. John Whitcomb, hoping you have good health and a decrease in your senescent cells as you learn the fine science of senolytics.